Every morning when you open your eyes, there is a moment of silence before the world asks for your attention. And in that moment, you have the chance to remind yourself of something deeply powerful. I am alive, and this is a gift. Too often people overlook this truth because their minds immediately shift toward worries, deadlines, or unfinished responsibilities. But the reality is that to wake up again is to be given another opportunity that millions of others did not receive today. The simple act of breathing, of feeling your heart beating steadily in your chest, is already proof that life has not abandoned you, that you are still part of the flow, still able to participate in this world. When you see your existence through the lens of a gift, the weight of complaints begins to dissolve, because gratitude takes root where dissatisfaction once stood. The body you inhabit, no matter what imperfections you may think it has, still carries you forward, still allows you to see, to hear, to move, to think, and to feel. These are miracles that many only notice when they are taken away. To remind yourself that being alive is a gift is to shift your perspective from scarcity to abundance. Instead of waking up thinking about what is missing, you awaken to what is already here. The soft light entering through your window, the sound of life outside, the air that fills your lungs, all of it is a reminder that this day is not to be wasted. Gratitude does not mean you will not face challenges. It means that you choose to begin from a foundation of appreciation, and that foundation strengthens you to face whatever may come. Every new day is an unopened book, and every breath is an invitation to write on its pages with awareness and choice. Think of how many people would trade anything just to experience one more sunrise, one more chance to speak with loved ones, one more opportunity to try again. If you can see your morning with this awareness, then life becomes richer instantly, because you are no longer blind to the extraordinary in what others call ordinary. This gift of life is not something to postpone recognizing until some achievement or milestone is reached. It is here right now, in the smallest details, in the fact that you have been entrusted with another day to live, to love, to create, and to grow. By affirming to yourself each morning that being alive is itself a gift, you slowly train your mind to see life with clarity and appreciation rather than boredom or resentment. The truth is that when you honor life itself as the greatest gift, everything else you pursue, success, peace, or happiness, emerges more naturally, because you are no longer chasing life, you are already embracing it. I choose my thoughts is a reminder that the mind is not an uncontrollable storm, but a tool that can be guided with awareness. Every morning when you awaken, your mind will naturally begin to generate streams of thoughts, some influenced by memories of the past, some colored by anxieties about the future, and some shaped by the opinions of others. If you do not learn to direct them, they will direct you. The simple declaration that you choose your thoughts gives you back the power that many people unknowingly surrender to habit and automatic thinking. A thought can either elevate you or pull you down. It can build confidence or cultivate doubt. It can create peace or stir conflict, and realizing this is the first step toward mental freedom. When you begin the day by reminding yourself that thoughts are choices, you understand that you are not obligated to follow every mental path that arises. A negative memory may appear, but you can choose not to dwell on it. An anxious scenario may present itself in your imagination, but you can choose to let it pass rather than feed it with attention. This practice is not about controlling every single thought, because thoughts will come and go like clouds. It is about deciding which ones to nurture and which ones to release. Just as a gardener does not allow weeds to overtake the soil, you too must choose carefully which mental seeds to water each morning. The mind has a tendency to replay old stories, especially stories of failure, rejection, or pain, and if left unchecked, these stories repeat themselves so often that they begin to shape your identity. I am stronger than yesterday is not only an affirmation, but also a recognition of the silent progress that happens each day you continue to live, breathe, and endure. Often, people underestimate how much they have grown because they measure their strength only in visible achievements or dramatic changes. Yet the truth is that strength is built quietly through every challenge you have faced, every difficulty you have overcome, and every moment you kept moving when it would have been easier to give up. When you remind yourself in the morning that you are stronger than yesterday, you acknowledge that even if life felt heavy, even if the obstacles seemed endless, you still arrived here, into this new day, and that alone proves resilience. Every trial leaves behind a lesson, every mistake carves wisdom into your character, and every hardship trains your spirit to endure more than you believed you could. Strength does not always appear in grand displays of power. Sometimes it is found in the patience you showed, in the discipline to keep going, in the courage to face fear, even when uncertainty surrounded you. To say I'm stronger than yesterday is to remind yourself that the person who woke up today carries more experience, more knowledge, and more inner endurance than the one who woke up yesterday. It is an understanding that you are constantly evolving, even in moments when it feels like nothing has changed. Think of the times you doubted your ability to continue, yet here you are. Think of the days when the weight on your shoulders felt unbearable, yet you carried it until it became lighter. Strength is not only measured by what you can lift, but by what you can endure without breaking, and by how quickly you can rise again when life pushes you down. Every sunrise marks a small victory, a declaration that no matter what happened before, you have not been defeated, you are still here, and I release what I cannot control is a reminder that peace is not found in trying to manage every detail of life, but in learning to let go of the things that lie beyond your reach. Every day brings circumstances, people and situations that will not unfold exactly the way you wish, no matter how much effort or energy you pour into them. The truth is that the world has its own rhythm. Events have their own timing, and others have their own choices to make, and none of these will ever fully belong to you. When you carry the burden of trying to control everything, you exhaust yourself, because it is like trying to hold back the tide of the ocean with your hands. By reminding yourself in the morning that you release what you cannot control, you begin the day lighter, clearer, and free from the endless struggle against the unchangeable. Releasing does not mean weakness or passivity. It means recognizing the line between what belongs to your responsibility and what belongs to life itself. Your thoughts, your actions, your discipline, these are within your hands. The opinions of others, the shifting of circumstances, the unexpected turns of fate, these are not. The moment you see this clearly, you understand where your energy should flow. Instead of wasting strength resisting what cannot be altered, you redirect it toward creating, improving, and growing in the areas where you truly have influence. This is where personal power is born, not in control over everything, but in clarity over what you can shape. Many people live in constant tension because they are attached to outcomes, expecting life to move in one straight line according to their plan. But life is not built this way. Storms arrive without warning, people leave without explanation, opportunities come and go, and no amount of resistance can change these truths. To release what you cannot control is to allow life to move as it does while you move with it, adapting rather than clinging, flowing rather than fighting. Imagine carrying a heavy stone on your back every day, a stone that was never yours to carry. The moment you release it, you realize how much lighter you feel, how much energy was wasted on something that never belonged to you. Every morning is a chance to make this choice again, to let go of yesterday's disappointments, tomorrow's worries, and the endless cycle of what-if scenarios that the mind loves to create. When you practice release, you create space in your heart for peace, in your mind for clarity, and in your life for freedom. You begin to notice that letting go does not mean losing, it often means gaining energy, gaining focus, gaining serenity. The strength of a person is not measured by how tightly they can hold on, but by how gracefully they can let go when holding on no longer serves them. I will move with intention is a way of reminding yourself that each step you take carries energy, direction, and influence, and that your actions are not meant to be random or without meaning. Many people drift through the day, reacting to circumstances, moving without awareness, and allowing habits to dictate their choices. But when you decide that you will move with intention, you place yourself in the position of author rather than bystander. Every movement of the body, every word spoken, and every decision made becomes a reflection of the clarity you hold inside. To move with intention means to pause before acting, to ask yourself why you are doing something, and to ensure that your action aligns with the life you want to create. The difference between living with intention and living without it is like the difference between a ship guided by a compass and one tossed aimlessly by the waves. Without intention, your energy scatters, and you find yourself drained without knowing why, caught in routines that lead nowhere. With intention, even the smallest action becomes purposeful, even the simplest gesture carries meaning. Drinking a glass of water, greeting someone with kindness, sitting in silence to breathe, all of these can be acts of intention when done with awareness. The strength of intention is that it transforms ordinary actions into steps on the path of growth and clarity. When you wake in the morning and tell yourself, "I will move with intention," you are planting a reminder not to let distractions control your focus. The day will bring interruptions, demands, and noise, but intention keeps you grounded in the choice of how you respond. Instead of being pulled in 100 directions, you choose one path and walk it steadily. This practice is not only about achieving great goals, it is also about cultivating presence. To walk with awareness is different than rushing unconsciously. To speak with intention is different than letting words escape without thought. To listen with intention is different than simply hearing without understanding. The mind becomes sharper when guided by intention because it is no longer scattered. The body becomes lighter because it moves with purpose. Even relationships become deeper because others can sense when your words and actions are sincere rather than automatic. Intention does not mean perfection. It means you live each moment with clarity, not wasted in confusion. It is a discipline that builds slowly, reminding you that time is the most precious currency you hold, and every moment spent unconsciously is a moment you will not return to. To move with intention is to honor your time, your energy, and your life by ensuring that what you do, however small, leads you closer to the person you are becoming rather than further away from it. "I am open to learning" is a statement that softens the mind and prepares the heart for growth. Because the moment you believe you already know enough, you close the door to wisdom. Every morning when you remind yourself of this truth, you are choosing humility over arrogance, curiosity over complacency, and expansion over stagnation. Life itself is the greatest teacher, offering lessons in every situation, every encounter, and every challenge, but only those who are willing to learn can receive them. To be open to learning means that you look at each day as an opportunity to grow a little wiser, to see something from a new perspective, and to uncover truths you may have overlooked before. Many people believe that learning ends when formal education is over, but in reality, learning is a lifelong journey, one that never stops unless you choose to stop. By affirming that you are open to learning, you break free from the limits of pride and step into the vastness of discovery. Every person you meet carries knowledge you do not have. Every mistake you make contains a hidden lesson, and every difficulty holds wisdom disguised as struggle. If you close yourself to learning, you miss these treasures. If you remain open, you gain insight that cannot be measured. Learning does not always come in comfortable forms. Sometimes it arrives through failure, disappointment, or loss. In those moments, many people resist, complain, or turn away. But an open mind recognizes that even pain has something to teach. Perhaps it teaches resilience, patience, or the value of things once taken for granted. When you live with the mindset that every situation is your teacher, then nothing in life is wasted. Even the smallest experience becomes a stepping stone on your path of growth. To say "I am open to learning" is also to acknowledge that your current perspective is not absolute. The world is wide, cultures are diverse, and wisdom comes in countless forms. When you open yourself to listen deeply, to observe without judgment, and to receive without resistance, you allow your understanding to expand beyond the limits of your own experience. This openness does not weaken you, it strengthens you, because the more you learn, the more tools you have to navigate life with clarity. Each morning is a chance to renew this openness. The day ahead may bring teachers disguised as strangers, lessons hidden in difficulties, or insights revealed in quiet moments of reflection. To stay open is to stay alive, because learning is the lifeblood of growth. The world keeps changing, and the self must also adapt. and the only way to adapt with wisdom is to continue learning. When you carry this affirmation into the day, you walk not as someone who claims to know everything, but as someone who is willing to be transformed by the knowledge life continually offers. I create my own reality is a declaration of responsibility, a reminder that the quality of your life is not solely shaped by circumstances, but by the way you choose to perceive them, respond to them, and act within them. Every thought you hold, every belief you nurture, and every choice you make lays down the foundation of the world you live in. Many people walk through life believing they are powerless, waiting for external events to align before they can feel happy, secure, or fulfilled. But the truth is that your inner world determines your outer experience. When you affirm each morning that you create your own reality, you reclaim the authority to shape your path rather than be shaped by it. This creation begins with the mind. Thoughts are not small or insignificant. They are like seeds planted in the soil of your awareness. A thought repeated becomes a belief directs your actions, and your actions carve the results you see. If you consistently think that life is unfair, your mind will only notice proof of unfairness. If you believe that opportunities surround you, you will begin to see them even in places where others see nothing. The filter through which you view the world is one you choose, and that filter becomes your reality. But creating your own reality does not end with thinking. It extends into action. Each decision you take, no matter how small, moves you closer to or further from the life you envision. The choice to rise early or sleep late, the choice to nurture your health or neglect it, the choice to speak with kindness or with anger, all of these accumulate quietly, shaping the reality you experience over time. By taking responsibility for your actions, you realize that your life is not built in a single moment, but brick by brick, choice by choice, intention by intention. Even in situations where external circumstances are beyond your control, the reality you experience is still created by how you choose to respond. Two people can face the same challenge, yet one feels broken while the other feels strengthened. Not because the challenge is different, but because the meaning they assign to it is different. This is the true power of creating your reality. It is not about denying difficulties, but about shaping the way you interpret them and allowing those interpretations to guide you with clarity rather than despair. Every morning when you say, "I create my own reality," you are reminding yourself that you are not a passive observer of life, but an active participant. You do not wait for permission to feel joy. You choose to cultivate it. You do not wait for the perfect moment to begin. You create it through action. You do not wait for life to hand you peace. You build it within your own heart and allow it to radiate outward. This affirmation shifts you from victimhood to empowerment, from drifting without direction to consciously steering the course of your journey. I am worthy of love, success, and peace is a truth that many forget, not because it is not real, but because years of doubt, criticism, or comparison have buried it beneath layers of insecurity. To remind yourself of this every morning is to strip away those layers and return to the foundation of self-worth that exists within everyone. When you affirm that you are worthy, you are not asking for permission from the world. You are declaring what has always been true, that your existence alone is proof of value. Too often people believe they must earn love through pleasing others, earn success by chasing endless validation, or earn peace by escaping their lives. But worthiness is not something given by others, it is something recognized within. The feeling of unworthiness is one of the greatest weights a human being can carry, because it influences every decision and interaction. A person who feels unworthy will hesitate to pursue opportunities, will accept less than they deserve, and will silence their own voice out of fear of rejection. But when you begin your day with the understanding that you are worthy, you change the way you walk into the world. You stand taller, you speak with more confidence, and you allow yourself to be seen without shrinking. Worthiness is not arrogance. It is not the belief that you are better than others. It is the understanding that you are equal, deserving of the same love, success, and peace that every human soul longs for. Love begins within. If you do not see yourself as worthy of love, no amount of external affection will ever feel complete. because you will always doubt its truth. When you accept your worthiness, you open yourself to giving and receiving love freely without fear of being undeserving. Success follows the same principle. If you feel unworthy, you will sabotage your progress, you will settle for less, or you will constantly chase achievements that never satisfy you. By affirming your worth, you allow yourself to reach for goals without apology, knowing that success is not reserved for a select few. It is available to all who commit to growth and effort. Peace is perhaps the deepest reward of worthiness. A mind that believes it is not enough will always be restless, always searching, always comparing. But a mind that rests in worthiness does not need to fight for acceptance or prove its value. It already knows that it belongs. To wake each day and remind yourself that you are worthy is to place a shield around your heart against the voices of doubt, whether they come from outside or inside. It is to decide that no mistake, no criticism, and no failure can take away the truth of who you are. The worthiness of love, success, and peace is not earned by doing, it is honored by being. And once you recognize it within yourself, you begin to experience life with greater freedom, openness, and trust. I focus on progress, not perfection, is a mindset that liberates you from the endless cycle of self-criticism and unattainable expectations. Perfection is an illusion, an ever-moving target that no one can truly reach, and yet many people spend their lives chasing it, only to feel disappointed and inadequate. Progress, however, is real, measurable, and within your reach every single day. When you choose to focus on progress, you acknowledge the small steps, the subtle improvements, the quiet victories that slowly but surely move you forward. This perspective transforms the way you approach challenges, because instead of being paralyzed by the fear of not doing something perfectly, you recognize the value of simply doing, of learning, and of growing. Each morning when you tell yourself that you will focus on progress, you set the tone for a day where effort matters more than flawless results. You begin to notice that life is not about sudden leaps, but about steady steps. A seed does not become a tree overnight. It grows inch by inch, season by season, and yet its progress is undeniable. In the same way, your own growth may not always be dramatic, but every effort builds upon the last, shaping who you are becoming. By focusing on progress, you give yourself permission to be human, to stumble, to make mistakes, and to use them as stepping stones instead of barriers. Perfectionism often leads to procrastination because the fear of not being perfect stops you from even starting. But when you value progress, you break the cycle. You begin, you take action, you learn, and you adjust. This way of living brings momentum, and momentum builds confidence. Every step forward, no matter how small, is proof that you are moving, that you are not stuck, and that your efforts are not wasted. The discipline to keep going matters more than the illusion of doing everything flawlessly. This mindset also strengthens resilience. When you focus only on perfection, any setback feels like failure. But when you focus on progress, setbacks simply become part of the journey. A fall is not the end, it is a lesson that refines your approach for the next attempt. You stop comparing yourself to an impossible ideal and instead compare yourself to who you were yesterday. That shift in perspective allows you to see just how far you have come, even if you still have far to go. Progress nurtures patience and compassion toward yourself. It allows you to celebrate small wins, to acknowledge effort, and to build confidence step by step. It removes the burden of needing approval from others because your focus is inward, on your own growth and movement forward. Every day that you wake up and affirm that you will focus on progress, not perfection, you remind yourself that life is not about flawless execution, but about continuous evolution, and that the act of moving forward itself is already a victory. Today, I will live with gratitude and purpose is a vow to approach life not as something to be taken for granted, but as an opportunity to be embraced with awareness and meaning. Gratitude shifts your attention from what is missing to what is already present, and purpose directs your energy toward actions that matter. When you combine both, you create a way of living that feels full, intentional, and deeply satisfying. Each morning, by reminding yourself of this truth, you anchor the mind in appreciation and align the heart with direction, giving the day a foundation that no external circumstance can easily shake. Gratitude is more than saying thank you, it is the art of noticing. It is the act of recognizing the breath moving in and out of your body, the ability to walk, to speak, to hear, to see, to love, and to be loved. It is the awareness that even in difficulty, life is still offering you something to learn, something to appreciate, something to grow from. When you live with gratitude, you stop waiting for extraordinary moments to feel joy because you realize that the ordinary is already extraordinary. A simple sunrise, a sip of water, a kind word from someone close to you, these become treasures when viewed through the lens of gratitude. Purpose gives gratitude direction. To live with purpose means you are not drifting aimlessly through your days, but instead moving with a sense of why. Purpose does not always have to be grand or world-changing. It can be as simple as showing kindness, creating beauty, caring for your family, or working with honesty. What matters is that your actions are guided by intention and that they reflect the values you hold most deeply. Without purpose, even success can feel empty. But with purpose, even small efforts carry deep fulfillment. When you wake up and declare that you will live with gratitude and purpose, you are choosing to direct your attention and your actions. Gratitude prevents the mind from falling into constant dissatisfaction, while purpose prevents you from wasting your energy on meaningless distractions. Together, they form a compass that guides you through the day, reminding you to appreciate what is and to contribute toward what can be. Living this way also shapes your interactions with others. A grateful heart expresses kindness naturally because it sees value in people rather than focusing only on flaws. A purposeful spirit uplifts those around it because it acts with clarity and consistency, creating trust and inspiration. Gratitude connects you to the present moment, purpose connects you to the larger journey, and the balance of both allows you to live each day fully without regret. By starting your morning with this affirmation, you set yourself on a path where each moment is acknowledged as a gift and each action is chosen with meaning, weaving together a life that feels both peaceful and powerful.